What is up, guys? Pat from Show Me Retro here. So recently I was browsing Letgo and I happened to come across something you just don't see very often, especially about 15 minutes from your house. And that is a Game Boy Light. So I thought I'd just make a quick video and kind of go over some of the differences between this and the other Game Boys, and if you think that it's something that you might want to purchase. So let's check it out. Show me retro. So here it is, the Game Boy Light. This is a Japanese only release. Now I don't know any numbers on how many of these were made, but you just don't see these every day, especially close to your house. So he had it for $100 with Super Mario Land. So after a lot of back and forth, we finally agreed on $80 for it, and it's not in the greatest condition, but it's acceptable. The first thing you'll notice is this color. It's kind of a, I guess you would call it a gold, a very light gold, and some of the paint has kind of worn off in spots just from holding it. But the good thing about that is that underneath of this, the plastic has kind of worn to that color. So, you know, plastic, when the paint wears off, sometimes it kind of gets that kind of a goldish tint. So it's not quite as noticeable because of the plastic underneath. The screen has a few micro scratches, but nothing major. Back label has what looks like some kind of water damage, but that's just from him holding it and sweating, and it was kind of grubby when I got it. Now I cleaned it up about as best I could. These scratches can't come off. It does take 2 AA's, and what this is essentially a Game Boy Pocket. Now we didn't get this over here, and I'm not really sure why, but it's kind of cool actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
If you compare it to the Game Boy Color, you'll see that it is slightly bigger, but it also has a bigger screen. See the difference here. Thickness wise, it's a little bit thicker. Now when you compare it to the OG DMG, it's slightly smaller, definitely thinner. But what really sets this apart is the light. So basically what you have here is you've got an on, an off, and then you've got a light. So turning it on, it's essentially just a Game Boy. Turning the light on definitely changes things. And just like the Game Boy, you can adjust kind of like the light, and where you can fine-tune the resolution. The technology that they're using here is kind of a bioluminescent blue light that you would basically find in like a Timex watch. Here's my trusty Expedition here. Now the battery's a little bit going dead, but you can kind of see where we're going here. Very similar technology. So this thing was pretty unique, and honestly, playing this in the dark is definitely a lot better. I mean, you can't play a Game Boy or even a Game Boy Color in the dark, even with a warm light or something like that. But this really makes this playable. You know, for its time and when it was released, this was pretty cool.
So that's pretty cool.
And you know, it's not focusing real well, but it doesn't look bad at all. It really doesn't. This is one of those things that I struggle with. Do I keep this or do I sell it? I know I got it below value, but the struggle is, yes, this will look great on a shelf, but will I really play this? And the answer to that question is probably not. The reason being, I recently picked up a IPS V2 modded Game Boy Advance, and I gotta tell you, this thing's badass. Anybody that was on the fence about getting one of these, do yourself a favor and pick one up. Now, You can do this mod yourself. There are tons and tons of videos right now about replacing the screen. Keep in mind you have to trim the shell. If you want the 10 level brightness, you are going to have to do some soldering, but it's doable. Now, the reason that I didn't do that, the plan was to do that, but the reason that I didn't was right around the time that I bought this Game Boy Light, I managed to find this under $100, which is a great deal for something like this. Now, it's brand new shell. The screen is a glass screen. It really is done well, and it's something that I was okay with this crystal color. I don't want to mess around with taking this IPS screen out and putting it in something else. Someone spent a lot of time getting this frame just right, so you don't want to go messing around with that. What I did do was swap the buttons out. So I did open it up. I had to kind of put my spin on it, and he had gray, this light gray in here, and gray here, and the buttons. I did not like that. Now I kept the gray here for the start and select, but I wanted to kind of pull out some of the black from the screen lens. You can see the back here. I really like the look. You can see the rechargeable batteries. There would be 2 stickers, one here, and then one here. I haven't put those on yet, and I'm not really sure that I am. Normally I would, but on this one, I kind of like the way that it looks, that you can see everything. So, not sure if I want to put those stickers on, but yeah, very nice. Now to show you just the difference here real quick, what the brightness level is versus, say, an AGS 101. So 2 identical games here. Here is my trusty AGS 101 on its highest setting. Not bad. Now let's try the IPS. Now I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just kick my battery on.
I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. If I push it any harder, the whole thing will blow.
So yeah, it does eat some batteries. Yeah, it's definitely, it's not showing up well, but basically it's about 4 times brighter. And the thing is, look at these angles, okay? The screen does not change no matter what angle you're on. Whereas here, look at that. Once you go off axis, that's what you get. Now, just to give you an idea of what the Game Boy Color looks like with Super Mario under these lighting conditions. Yeah, not that great. Now here is Super Mario on the original Game Boy. Now let's compare the same game on the Game Boy Light. When you compare the two now, you can see that's a big difference. I still love this thing, absolutely adore it, but once you have something like this, and let's bump this down a little bit just to make it a little better. So you just hold select and look at all these brightness settings. And again, there it's so bright that it's actually kind of washing out my camera. It's really a game changer, this thing. I'm going back and playing so many games. Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color. I love it. Absolutely love it. Alright guys, so there you go. That is a quick look at the Game Boy Light. Kind of a sought after item right now. And I think this is probably going to get sold. This would look great on my shelf. You know, it'd be just cool to say, hey, I have a Game Boy Light. But the reality is I'm just not going to play this. Once you have something like this or something like this, it really just makes this just kind of a showpiece, and that's not really the type of person that I am. I would rather this go to somebody that's going to actually use this. Now, the person who buys it, are they going to sit on their shelf? You know, I have no control over that. Who knows? But I know for me, I think it's best just to move this on. I kind of wanted to just clean it up. I took it apart, cleaned all the buttons, all the contacts, everything, just to make sure that it was in tip-top shape. And, you know, whoever gets this is going to be happy with it. It's very cool. It's just not something that once you have these brighter screens that you're ever going to go back to. So, hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I've been kind of taking a break from YouTube here lately and focusing on some other things here at home. I appreciate everyone that has stuck around and has commented and asked me if I was doing okay. I'm fine. I'm just kind of getting things squared away here at home, and quarantine's been kind of a bitch. So my wife is working from home, and that takes away from me filming. It's harder for me to film and things like that with her working in the office here in the basement. And, you know, so that being said, I'm trying to do more videos, but again, I have a daughter who's graduating. I have a lot of things going on, working a lot of overtime now that I'm back at work. You know, it's just very difficult. So the channel is still alive. It's just, I will put out things as I can, but just bear with me, and appreciate you guys watching. All right, guys, you know the drill. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching.